Just getting set up. Waiting for my guest. Good evening, everybody. Give me 1 second. I'm waiting for my guest to jump in. This time, hopefully, we'll be able to get the guest on Facebook as well. Oh, here we go. How do I get them? Let's see if we can get them on Facebook as well. All right, we got it. We got the one.
Yeah.
How you doing? Now, did you join the Facebook one?
So I'm on the Facebook. How do I get to it?
Just put DRRAMECK Hunt.
Okay.
And then join the live. It's 2 of them up there, but it's only, and so when you find it, let me know. We almost there, guys. Remember, interesting.
No, I don't. Yeah. One more time with the name.
DR
It's
RAME DRRAMECK.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Hunt.
Yep. Found it.
Oh, you did? Good.
So I'm on the page. I just need to find the actual button. So it's not showing you up here as being on live.
Okay, so then that means you're on the other page. So the one you selected was the one that, so the next one is the one that's the live one. It gets a little tricky because one is a page and one is a profile. So we'll get ready in about a minute or 2, guys. Less than a minute. So
where would the live show up at? That's me not going live on Facebook. This is sad.
I know, right? It should be in my feed if you're on my page.
Yeah, I'm on the page. I see. Probably because we're not friends on the Facebook. Is he not allowing me to do it?
Oh. So you want to
Yeah, I'm requesting you now.
And the problem is, let me go grab another device, because if I go off the live, it probably will kick people off. So let me just grab a device real quick.
Well, we appreciate you, those of you who are on here. We having a little bit of technical difficulties with Facebook. As you know, these days Facebook isn't the most used platform, but I'm figuring it out so that we can have this discussion with you all on Instagram Live as well as on Facebook. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? Where y'all from? For people in the group.
What's your Facebook?
Yep, Jamar Mills. So GEMAR. Last name Mills. MILLS. Got
GMAR
Inglewood,
Mills.
Michigan. Yes. Jersey is in the building. DC in the building. Okay.
GMAR Mills.
G
That's for
GE.
Facebook, huh?
Yup. GE.
Oh, GE. That's
M.
what I got. Oh, to Jamar Mills. Okay, got it.
Yup. What's up, brother? How's everything?
You know what? Oh, you know what? The page.
It's not the good.
The
It's not the right
page.
one.
I just sent you a request from the right page.
All right, perfect. I'm on it.
Let me see if you got it. All right. We're gonna get started. Who we got? We got. Oh, okay. What's going on, Bam? Thanks for joining.
Yep.
You got it?
Yep.
All right. Dr. Ayers, let me see if I got you. Here we no. Yep. And then see if you can join the live. Yep. And then see if you could join the live. And then see if you can join the live.
Yeah. I don't know how to do this, man.
We're gonna get it going, and we'll post like I did last week. We'll post it on Facebook, but they'll be able to hear you anyway, like they did last week. They just won't be able to see you until I post it. So, welcome everybody. I'm Dr. Ramik Hunt, and I got a special guest tonight, and I'm excited for him to join me, Dr. Jamar Mills. And thank you for joining me tonight on this live. And I would like I'd like you to share with the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yep. I mean, my name is Jamar Mills, Dr. Jamar Mills. I am an author, a speaker, a coach, mentor, of course, and a founder of College Achieve Patterson Charter School. And yeah, that's
so,
it in a Jersey.
Yes. And it's funny because when I was going through the bio, we have a lot of similarities. Like we got a North connection, we got a Seton Hall connection, we have a Plainfield connection. So we got a lot of different connections. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with when you were at Shabazz. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I guess this is an unorthodox road. I mean, I started out really young in education. I got in at 22, and by the time I was 25, I was an administrator at Shabazz High School. I was a chairperson of mathematics. Did that for 2 years before becoming the vice principal, and then in 1 year later, I became the principal. And probably not because I was like an amazing leader, but at that point, it was 3 principals down, and they were trying to figure out who was going to be the leader. And the alumni just felt like I was the person that we should actually, that they should select to be the guy. Superintendent ain't necessarily fit that way. She took me through a lot in order to actually say yes to me getting the job. And then within that year, I became the principal. 1 year into that work, we doubled the assessment scores in literacy from 33% to 63%. Yeah, and then before you knew it, most every news camera in America was in trying to figure out what we did, how we did it, and they did documentaries. We won an Emmy. It was just like, um, just this thing that I felt was great for the community because it just lifted us up and let them know that this wasn't about adults; it was about children, and they got an opportunity to shine. And then like just the cool that came with being educated was something that really took them to um, greater places. So, and maybe some of them are on this live. I hope so, because
Yeah.
we know experienced them in their adult life and doing the work that we was doing for them back then.
That's funny that you say that because that's one of the things that me and my partners talk about, like, making it cool to be smart, making it cool,
Yeah.
so that they not only can look up to a sports figure or somebody in entertainment, but they can also look up to an educator, a doctor, an astronaut, whoever, to make it cool to be, to be smart. And that's really where what we've been on our quest to do for some years. And all of what you've done with Shabazz in all of the attention. Then you wrote about it in the book, and I just purchased it, by the way, called The Turnaround, 180 Days of Change. Can you talk a little bit about your book?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, so the book is twofold. It's a black part and there's a gold part, and that's a play on the colors of the actual school itself. So the black part is the turnaround
Mm.
that had their own life that prepared me for the gold portion of it, which was the turnaround at Shabazz. And so I think without the experiences of my childhood and teenage experiences and, having 400 stitches in my face and, going through the trials and tribulations of just growing up as a
Mm.
teen and right? Like those experiences made it possible for me to just like understand what it's going to take to reach a young man that doesn't necessarily see or hope or experience hope in their community. That what they pretty much go through, they may feel like this is my life, and so having an opportunity at a young age to connect with students that weren't too far from age with me really, really uh, created a dynamic that allowed me to connect with them. It also allowed me to connect with the
Mm-hmm.
staff. And I mean, everybody was on board. This wasn't a Dr. Mills thing and at the time Principal Mills thing. This was like a team effort. We must protect this house.
Yeah.
That's how we looked at it. And
And that
everybody put the work.
and that's
So the
important,
book,
that team effort thing.
yeah, the book gives you all of that as well as like 5 levers literally to do what I did in 180 days.
Mm.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you said that that resonated with me is the whole team effort thing, and also the relatability. Like, I think that a lot of people will tell you that I work with, and patients of mine, that relatability is important. I mean, you have to know how to do your job and your work and whatever your expertise is, but it's also good to be able to relate. And I find that, like, being able to relate to a patient, for instance, allows me to be a better diagnostician to figure out what's going on with them, because I'm 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 getting things from them that are maybe even unsaid, that I'm getting from their body language or whatever it is. And so and so and people feel more comfortable talking to me because they feel that they can relate. And so that's
Yeah.
why I really that resonated with me about being relatable, and also the kids, like the work that we do in the community. The kids,
Yeah.
they can relate to you because you've had their experiences, and so I absolutely agree that is a really important skill set. And then from Shabazz, you went on and started your own schools.
Yeah. So I got an opportunity to work with a nonprofit that was heavily funded by the wealthiest people in the country, essentially. Got an opportunity to travel the country, of 50 principals across 7 to 8 different states. And through that work, um, I met a team of people that was working in Plainfield, and I hopped on board to support them in a consultant capacity, and that transitioned into a partnership. And myself and my partner Mike
Mm.
Piskel, we ended up launching College Achieve Patterson and College Achieve Asbury, and then College Achieve Plainfield. And so now we have
Mm.
several campuses across the state of New Jersey, and we're thriving. We're thriving. I mean, we're new, so just like a newborn baby, still learning how to walk. We had to crawl first, but I do feel like we're in a space right now where we're about to turn the corner and grow from, your traditional just figuring it out a school to now servicing 3,000 students, moving from a
Mm.
tier 1 school, or tier 3 school, year one, to now being a tier 1 school, which means that we were going from 8% of the schools in New Jersey. We were only better than 8%. And in 1 year later, we're now better than 60% of all schools in New
Oh
Jersey.
wow.
And so,
Oh wow.
again, right, like,
Congrats. That's a big deal.
yes,
That's a big
it's
deal.
it's uh it's the staff, it's the kids, it's everybody, man. And it's like, what you're saying, and how you ultimately uh find yourself to have success with your patients. Is just, building those relationships and getting people committed to not a work, not a job, but they're committed to
Yeah.
the vision, and that's
Yeah.
what I think is continuously moving us forward.
And so how did you navigate COVID? Like, what did you have to shut the schools down, or what happened?
Yeah, so the state put out a lot of guidance behind COVID. We had to create a reopening plan, and depending on where you were situated in the state, right, there was these like green, yellow, red situations
Exactly.
that would you're less risk, mid risk, low risk. I mean, sorry, high risk. And so where we had high risk, we decided not to open and just go full remote. But in Patterson,
Mm-hmm.
we actually kicked a hybrid situation where students were in 3 days and out 2 days. And then as we got closer to Thanksgiving, we had various COVID cases pop up. And at that point,
Mm.
we moved them out in pods because they were working in silos with their students. But after we got, let's say, 3 confirmed cases, we shut down completely and had everyone quarantined. And so we haven't been back in the building just yet. We will be back most likely. March 1st is the date that I'm aiming for. But the virus has a mind of its
I
own.
was gonna
It's
say,
like
yeah, you
we
gotta see
still
what the
learn.
virus said.
Yeah, there's just so many variables here,
Yeah,
and my
yeah,
ultimate goal, there's no casualties because of my just passion to get students into a building. So I'm going to take every precaution, make sure we do it right, make sure we do it safely, and if that means
absolutely.
that we need to, we'll be out.
Yeah, I mean that's what we need to do. I mean we're going to talk about that in a minute. Just doing the right things to make sure everybody is safe. And we all want the kids in school if they can be, but like you said, you got to do it the right way.
Yeah,
I mean, you said you talked about this or you wrote about it on your social media. You actually yourself contracted COVID-19.
yeah, yup. And I
Yeah.
so when I contracted COVID-19, it was in the beginning stages. So we're talking about March.
Mm.
So
Oh
this is
wow.
before math or even confirmed, or if that was like a thing that worked, it didn't work. And I was actually traveling in the airport, and the traffic there, I'm assuming that's where it came from. But it hit me hard. It hit me
Mm.
like I mean, like bedridden, shortness of breath, had to go to the hospital, and what was so crazy, it, being in the hospital and the experience of typically service, right? Like, the doctors are there, the nurses are there, everyone's kind of making sure you're good. COVID was totally different. They were like, get him in the room, close the door, talk from outside the door, you know. And I'm like,
It
you know, I'm
was,
not
yeah.
leaving with. Yeah, so it was,
You know,
and then
in
the
the big,
doctor.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, because you're a doctor you're in the trenches for real, and you're first responder. So I can only imagine the kinds of experiences you were having. But
But
I
you
had a
know, it's
holistic.
interesting to hear from the patient side too. So that's why I was saying, you said
Yeah.
that you were going to say that, and then the doctor something. You were going to say something.
Yeah. You know, the doctor literally said, you know, we did the chest X-ray, we did the EKG, and you know, your vitals, everything is good. Your breathing is strong. And we're gonna prescribe you a few things that may not cure this, but at least it help you out. So like, so the doctor was just cognizant of the fact that, listen, man, I'm not telling you you're gonna make it, but you're good enough to leave here. So go home and relax and get through it. And you know, by the grace of God, I did. And I really
Thank
attested to
God.
not the medicine or anything, because I didn't have any to take. Really was about like this holistic approach. Who my sister, my youngest sister, happens to be a registered nurse, and she was like, you know, a lot of the research is speaking about vitamin C, and I was doing 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day, a gallon of water, B12, zinc, getting a lot of rest, and I think it was one other thing that she had me taking. And that regimen, I thought got me through, but probably all the things I did do pre getting COVID was probably more impactful to all of that regimen, which is like,
That is absolutely correct.
right, exercising every day, you know, doing 2 miles a day. And, you know, I've been a vegan for 6 years. So like just making choices that would reduce my risk of being a casualty of the virus that we didn't understand 8 months ago, 6 months ago.
Especially in the beginning, because we didn't even have any medicines to really give you. I mean, we was just throwing the kitchen sink, like a little bit of azithromycin, a Z-Pack, a little bit of steroids, but we didn't really know in the beginning what to do. We weren't even testing that
Yeah.
much in the beginning. But
Yep.
what you said is very important. How you are, you know, pre getting a COVID is probably the most important thing that saved you. I mean, we know that diabetes is a big risk factor. We know, you know, people with hypertension and obesity, which is the reason why I wrote this book, the No
Yeah.
Guesswork Diet, to help people get to a healthier weight, because obesity is a big one for this, and we're starting to learn more about the cytokine storm, because some people get it, they get sick, and they get better. But some people get it, they get sick, and it just snowballs. And
Yeah.
and the question is, where's that snowball coming from, and why did it snowball in this person and not that person? And we do know that the cytokines that are housed, you know, that obesity has a lot to do with, can make that trigger go haywire. And so it is absolutely true that what you did before was really instrumental in saving you. And you know, and we're not done with obviously we're not done with COVID-19. We're still having the worst casualties at the worst death rates every day. You know, you turn on the news and they're like, oh, today is the worst death rate. And I'm like, I thought yesterday was the worst death rate. And so we really, even though we do have the vaccines, we talked about the vaccines on when I had my live on Monday. But even though we have the vaccines, until, you know, enough people get vaccinated, until we get to that herd immunity, we really need to continue to do what we've been doing. Is, you know, I know it's fatigue. I'm fatigued, you know, but we still
Yeah.
got to do it. You know, you got to, you know, wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance. And if we do those three things, I think we'll be fine. And also watch the crowds that you're in, because you don't want,
Yeah.
one of my patients unfortunately got COVID-19 because somebody who lived in his home was out, got COVID, brought it home, and gave it to the whole family. And, you know, You know, so it's like we all need to do our part, and we all need to protect our family, and that's how we should be looking at it. That, you know, I'm gonna do the right thing to protect my family, because when I come home, even if I'm asymptomatic, I could still give it to somebody and make them symptomatic. And so it's really
Yep.
important to you know, we
And
got
I
a few months left. We got a few months left to this. So, you know,
for those that
but
are them, for those
I'm
that are
sorry, say
on
that
here
again.
that may, no, I was saying for those that are on here that are from potentially follow me or interact with me, could you share the name of the book that could help, you know, mitigate obesity and get them to the weight that they
Oh,
need to be?
oh yes. The name of my book is called The No Guesswork Diet. I don't know if you can see it here, but The No Guesswork Diet. It really talks about, you know, getting to a healthier weight from a scientific perspective. We know that weight, you know, before what we were taught in medical school on obesity was 4 words. Tell your patients, eat less, move more. And that's it. That was our education on obesity. But we know now that there's so much more to why people have obesity and why it's difficult to lose weight, but more importantly, why it's difficult to maintain the weight that you've lost, and why do 80 to 90% of people who lose it regain it. And it has a lot to do with, and people have seen my lives before, no, it has a lot to do with gut hormones. So the hormones in your gut regulate your hunger and your cravings. And so we know what those hormones are, we know what they do, and we also know how to bring the levels back down so that you can lose weight and so that you can keep it off. And so I talk about the ways to get to a healthier weight and stay at a healthier weight in this book. And we go through the science a little bit, but it's really, someone told me today, there's like, your book is so easy to read. And it was written that way on purpose because I wanted it to be a book that you can actually sit down and read, similar to the books that I've written in the past, like The Pact and The Bond and all the other books that I've written, so that you can actually read it and enjoy it. And while you're reading it and enjoying it, you're actually getting knowledge, and you're learning your body, and you're learning the things that can, again, help you get to a healthier weight. And you know, when I started out with the statement that obesity is not the person's fault, you know, people go, whoa, what are you talking about? Of course it's their fault. But it's not. And if you get the book and you read the book, I'll convince you that that's not the case. It has a lot to do with, like I said, gut hormones, the appetite center in your brain, and a few other things that, something called the set point, because we have a set point for your weight, and your body tries to maintain that set point at all costs. And so we go through that in the book, and it's a real easy read. It's a quick read, but it gives you the tools that you need to get to a healthier weight. And that's really my passion. My passion is once I learned this knowledge, it was like, okay, I got to tell everybody. Like, this is something that
Right.
everybody needs to know, because there's so many different diets out there. Like, especially this time of the year, because this is when all the diet books come out. So it's this diet, that diet, the tummy diet, it's just so many things. It's dizzying, which is why I called it the no guesswork diet, because we want to take the guesswork out of healthy living. We don't want you to have to guess about anything. We don't want you to have to guess about what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And a lot of this is getting rid of the sugar, keeping your carbs down, particularly the refined carbs, the white sugar, flour and that kind of stuff, and finding your carb number. And what's unique about my book is that we talk about finding your carb number. Everybody, you don't have to go keto, you don't have to, but everybody has a number where if they get below that number, like for instance, my number is 70 grams a day. So if I keep my carbs below 70 grams a day, I will predictably lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. Your number might be 90 or 100, who knows? But we teach you how to find your number, and we teach you how to get to a healthy weight. And not only get to a healthy weight, again, it needs to be sustainable, which is my 6 S's. So sugarless,
Yep.
sustainable, it's satisfying, You know, all the S's that we talk about in the book, it are important when you look at what approach you want to take to get to a healthier weight. You got to make sure it checks off those boxes. So that's what it's about. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 6 years with my clinic, and then just recently with this book.
Love that.
So
I mean that see
yeah.
that right. So my hashtag is I save lives daily, and what I mean by that is right, like saving students through connecting with their heart and mind, and like you're saving, right, just connecting with their body and essentially helping them understand what healthy state. So I love it. I love that. I love that, man.
All right, let me see. There was a couple questions out there, and let's see. Oh, one of the questions were for you, Dr. Mills. Do you feel like you're back to 100% after you got COVID?
I do.
To yourself?
Yeah. So for anybody who want to join me or get a message from me every morning when I go running, you can sign up at the Nike app. In our Nike Club app is GMills9477. But every morning I'm going running. Post-COVID, it actually inspired me to start a social distance run challenge. So we couldn't come together, but through the app, what it allowed me to do was get people running all across the country, right, that wanted to compete for a cause. So the cause was, give us $10, join, and then we'll take that money that we raise and purchase laptops for any students in need in a community of choice. And so
wow.
we had participants. We raised over $5,000, and those winners, the first, second, and third, took those winnings and decided which students they wanted to give those laptops to. So, since then, I've continued my regimen in running. I'm working out each morning. I've been doing like all of what I need to do. So I do feel 100%. And I've also been eating better, right? Because you can be vegan, hardly. Oreos are
this is true.
too.
I try to tell people all the time, like, you got to be, I mean, like, you get French fries, people, eat French fries. They say they're vegetarian, and, you can eat a lot of things that are bad, even if you're vegan or vegetarian. And for those who don't know the difference, being a vegetarian is you don't eat animal products, basically. But being a vegan is a little more strict, because not only do you not eat the actual animal, but you also don't eat the things that they produce. So you don't eat dairy, you don't eat the milk or the eggs. And so it makes it a little more challenging in this country to be a vegan. But because there's so many vegans, and so it's all about supply and demand. So because there's so many people who are vegetarian or who are vegan, there are things out there, and you could probably speak to that even better. That you can still enjoy eating. It's just a little bit more restricted.
Shout out to Chipotle for the cauliflower rice. Game changer.
Cauliflower
keeping
rice.
us healthy.
So you said cauliflower rice, right?
Yep.
See, that's what we tell people when we tell people to avoid the regular rice or carbs. Like, there are so many things, substitutes. Like, cauliflower rice is a excellent choice if you know how to make it. Some people say, oh, I don't like it. I'm like, because you didn't get it from the right people, or you didn't make it right. Like, you can make some good cauliflower rice. I've tasted some bomb cauliflower rice and cauliflower mashed potatoes. I know you don't eat bacon, but some places put bacon bits on it. It is you can do a lot of substitutes that are healthy, and so so you could do it. You could definitely do it. All right, we got a few more, one or two more questions before we wrap up. I never heard of cauliflower wings, but but thank you for that. That's I need to find out where they are. And let me see. And so what are this is another question for you actually. What are some
Go ahead.
what are some of the benefits that you find that you have because your lifestyle, so your diet and your exercise? What are some of the things that you've noticed that are different since you've been disciplined in doing this?
Yeah, I think that my overall is just like inside feels better. So, like the concept of like taking a shower each day and like washing up. I think that, when I think about what I'm putting in the body, whether I'm juicing for a week or cleansing sorts or just eating cleaner, it really makes me feel like I'm taking that shower on the inside of my body. And when I'm doing certain things that I won't get into on the live, it feels better. I think my energy levels are up. We talk about these skin regimens and things like that, but just eating cleaner, like, face is clearer. I don't have a ton of acne or anything like that. Like, and people say that, oh, you have a glow, right? And I'm saying to myself, right, this probably because of what I'm consuming and not so much of like products I purchase to do something to my skin. So those things that I think have been a benefit to these choices.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you are what you eat, as they say, and it's the same thing. Like, so if you're eating, like you said, processed foods, a lot of junk, a lot of sugar, a lot of carbohydrates, that it's gonna weigh you down. Even a lot of meat. Even though my book is mostly about a low carb diet. People associate that with eating a lot of meat, and the truth is, when you get through my book, we what I recommend is a low carb Mediterranean diet. So it's mostly vegetables and fish and olive oil and those kinds of things. And so because those things do make you feel weighed down inside, and like
Yeah.
you said, you feel lighter, you feel cleaner, you have a glow, you have energy. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we are going to wrap, but I want to thank you again, Dr. Mills, for showing up and sharing your
Yeah.
story and sharing your life and being there for the kids and educating our youth. I really appreciate you for that. And we need to stay in touch. And like we said
Almost
when
done.
we were talking before we got on the live, we definitely need to stay in
Yeah.
touch. And follow Dr. Mills for my followers, and Dr. Mills followers follow me. and
Yep.
and pick up Dr. Mills' book. Somebody put it on the chat, but it's called The Turnaround: 180 Days of Change. And pick up my book, of course, the No Guesswork Diet. Um, and follow us, like I said, on the social media, and you'll see this posted on my YouTube channel, but it'll also be posted on Facebook and IG. And Dr. Mills, any last words or anything you want to say to the viewers?
Yeah, no, I did see someone ask a question like, what did I do to connect student hearts and minds? So I do want to respond to that. And
Oh, absolutely.
it's a simple question, and that was, what is their dream? Because everybody has one. And so in having that dream, we figure out what they're passionate about. Most leaders are telling them what they should be doing and not really questioning them about what they want to do. And so that one question synthesized into like something that they intrinsically motivated to do. And my thing is, even if it shifts, right? Even if it changes, at least we've identified something that they were passionate about pursuing. And after they learned that, you know what, this brought me to another place because I wanted to be
Yep.
a professional football player. I was hell bent on doing that, only to get to college and realize that, wow, I think I'm a mathematician. Oh, wow, I think that I want to educate others. So you just never know, where it takes you. But dream big, right? Make a plan, right, and take action. And I think like those are the things that'll get to you to where you want to be. And get the book because there's more insight in there. for you all who don't have it or want to learn more about what I got going on. So thank you, Dr. Hunt, man. This was amazing.
That
I'm
is a
definitely going to
great
be in
way
touch.
to end this live. I appreciate you, brother, and we'll stay in touch. And thank you all for viewing. Share this on your pages. Tell your friends about it. Spread the word. Thank you. You guys take care.
All right.
All right.